Vietnam's economy remains in positive growth in the first 9 months of the year. Thousands of local enterprises closed down after 9 months due to COVID-19. According to HSBC, Vietnam is the only country in ASEAN that has positive economic development in 2020. Industry insiders say that Singapore is an important market for local SMEs. 5 Vietnamese resorts named among Asia's best choice. Hello and welcome to FBNC News, and here are the latest updates from Vietnam. Now, according to a macroeconomic report announced recently by the Ministry of Finance, in the first 9 months of this year, Vietnam's public debt is expected to be 56 to 58% of GDP. However, the ministry said that Vietnam still has enough strength to support businesses to overcome difficulties. Despite the increase in overspending due to the fiscal space that has been strengthened and increased in the past period, Vietnam commits to continue implementing the adopted measures. Specifically, with the implementation of about 36% of the fiscal support package, the state budget expenditure as of September 15th increased sharply by 66.5% over the same period in 2019. Meanwhile, the total state budget revenue continued to decrease by 12.3% over the same period in 2019. The Ministry of Finance also said that although there was a decrease compared to the estimate, there is still a large fiscal space and the ability to compensate and especially to offset the increase in investment expenditure. The development and prevention of the pandemic are absolutely ambitious, the ministry affirmed. 2 months after evfta became effective, exports from Vietnam to EU increased more than $700 million with a lot of tax incentives. In August, the value of export from Vietnam to the EU was more than $3 billion, 4.2% higher than the same time last year. This made the total value of exports from Vietnam to this market in the first 8 months of 2020 reach nearly $23 billion. In September, the value of exports from Vietnam to EU increased 14.4% compared to the same time of previous year. Many products from Vietnam have expanded their customers in this big and potential market. Reporting on the situation of business registration in the first 9 months of the year, Business Registration Management Agency under the Ministry of Planning and Investment said that there were more than 78,000 enterprises withdrawing from the market, which was much higher compared to the same period last year, with only 61,000 companies. Among these, there were more than 38,000 enterprises registering to temporarily suspend business, more than 27,000 businesses waiting for dissolution, and more than 12,000 companies completing dissolution procedures. The number of enterprises registering to suspend business rose by 81.8% over the same period last year, which was the highest increase in the 2015-2020 period. COVID-19 pandemic has exerted serious impacts on production activities of the enterprises, said the Business Registration Management Agency. However, on a more positive note, HSBC has predicted that although it is a difficult year of 2020 all over the world, but Vietnam is the only country in ASEAN that has positive economic development. This bank also said that in the first half of 2020, Vietnam has overcome many obstacles to reach an economic development at 1.8%. This result mainly comes from the success of the government in limiting the spread of COVID-19. HSBC also predicted that in the next year of 2021, Vietnamese economy would increase up to 8.1% because of the recovery of the high technology sector and a big stream of FDI. You are watching FBNC News. Now, Vietnam currently ranked second in the investment expansion list of Japanese companies, according to Mr. Hirai Shinji, Chief Representative of Japan Trade Promotion Organization, speaking at a press conference in Ho Chi Minh City last week. Mr. Hirai Shinji, Chief Representative of Japan External Trade Organization in Ho Chi Minh City, cited a JETRO survey about the overseas operations of Japanese companies from November 5th to December 23rd, 2019. Accordingly, 48.1% firms says that they currently have an overseas base and are planning to further expand operations in China. This result is a significant drop from the previous year, which was 55.4%. Vietnam ranked second at 41%, exceeding 40% for the first time. The difference between Vietnam and China narrowed to 7.1 percentage points from 19.9% in the previous year. This means that in terms of expanding business operations internationally of Japanese firms, Vietnam is catching up with China. After considering the current supply chain restructuring, Mr. Hirai Shinji said that among all companies participating in the survey, there are 170 suppliers have been transformed, including partial conversion, in order to ensure commercial protection.
今後のですね、回復の見通しについてですけれども、一番多かったのは来年の1月から3月ということですけれども、実はもうこの年内にもですね回復するということを期待している企業が約4割いまして。
Metalex Vietnam 2020, Vietnam's leading exhibition on machine tools and metalworking industry, is going to be converted to an online format on October 23rd and 24th to keep Vietnam's machine tools and metalworking industry connected. Promoting export to Singapore, which has open trade mechanisms and high-quality services, is viewed as a shortcut for Vietnamese small and medium-sized enterprises to send their products out to the world, according to industry insiders. Singapore is one of the most developed countries in Asia but has been strongly affected by COVID-19. At the moment, they are trying to diversify the material input for their manufacturers. At the moment, not only agricultural, other Vietnamese products still have access to Singaporean market. So this is the time that Vietnamese businesses should enlist to export and expand the Singaporean customers.
Vietnamese product into Singapore is very big. I said just now. So what you need to do is, because if you compare price-wise, price ratio between other countries, either Malaysia or Indonesia or Thailand, Vietnam have the advantage. So my advice is Vietnamese enterprises need to prepare themselves so that they can get the halal certification. Once you have the halal certification, I think the price ratio from Vietnam into Singapore is very easy. Yeah. So I would encourage, again, like I said, you must have that. You must have the halal certification, because without halal certification, most of the population around ASEAN would not buy the products. So that's a differentiate. And also it's good for for Vietnamese companies, because when you have halal, as compared to other products which do not have halal, the halal product are more acceptable in Singapore than any other product which do not have the halal logo.
In the conference, many questions about the quality standard of products or what kind of products Singaporeans are now looking for have been answered carefully.
Tận dụng những cái chính sách ưu đãi về thuế, những chính sách mở của chính phủ Singapore. Thì từ giờ đến năm 2025, mình nghĩ là những cái hiệp định song phương giữa Singapore và Việt Nam sẽ vẫn được tiếp tục phát triển. Và thậm chí có thể sẽ được nâng lên một tầm cao mới hơn nữa.
Also in this conference, the experts recommended Vietnamese businesses should utilize the product's quality as their best advantage. They also urged the government to quickly reform and remove the unnecessary procedures for businesses to make export easier. The Castanema mollissima, also known as Chinese chestnut tree, is currently planted by many farmers in Ninh Thuan district, Bắc Cạn province. Chinese chestnut has a special aroma and taste, is favored by the market and brings high economic value for farmers. The South Central Province of Ninh Thuan will restructure its salt production by applying advanced techniques and renovating salt fields to become the country's leading producer by 2030, according to its Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. The coastal province is one of the country's largest salt producers and has a tradition of making salt for hundreds of years, mostly in Ninh Hải and Thuận Nam districts.
With a coastline of 105 kilometers, Ninh Thuan has favorable conditions of having seawaters with a high salinity content and dry and hot weather year-round, which not only helps the waters evaporate faster, but also produce large dry grains of salt. But the province faces difficulties because of small-scale productions and low prices. Farmers produce salt using the traditional method of pumping seawaters into salt fields, waiting for the waters to evaporate under the sun for a week and then harvesting the salt. Most farmers use the traditional method and operate on a small scale without contracts, and so face problems like inconsistent prices and demand. Many others have switched to other vocations, causing a decline of 188 hectares this year to 3,078 hectares of fields, according to the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. The province plans to produce salt on 3,267 hectares this decade and have an annual output of 650,000 by 2030, including 550,000 tons produced industrially. To achieve the targets, it will upgrade existing infrastructure for industrial productions and develop production models using advanced techniques, according to the department. It will study renovations of fields in such a way that machines can be used in all stages, from pumping seawater to harvesting the salt. The department is also working with relevant agencies and localities in the province to draft plans to produce, process, and consume salt.
Several Vietnamese resorts have clinched spots at the Condé Nast Traveler 2020 Reader's Choice Awards, with the Annam coming in as the highest-ranking Vietnamese resort on the top 30 resorts in Asia list, closely followed by Ban Yan Tri Lang Co.
Detailed Hectares A-Names, an Indonesian-era-inspired resort with 77 villas and 136 rooms, with suite overlooking Long Beach on the Cameron Peninsula, landed 4th spot with a near-perfect 99.41 out of 100 on the prestigious magazine's worldwide readership. Ban Yan Tri Lang Co, a multi-award-winning all-pool villa resort, was the second highest-placed Vietnamese resort on the list, coming in at 9 and scoring 99.28. JW Marriott Phú Quốc Emperor Bay Resort and Spa and Salinda Resort Phú Quốc Islands also made the cut, securing 24th and 29th positions respectively. Angsana Lang Co, which featured 229 stylish suites, more than 100 of which come with their own private pools overlooking the East Seas, rounded off the list in 30th place with a score of 97.9. Condé Nast Traveler readers cast more than 715,000 votes, rating their travel experiences across the globe as part of the magazine's 33 Annual Reader Choice Award Survey. The results were announced globally online on October 6 and will be featured in the November issues of the Condé Nast Traveler US and UK print editions. Condé Nast Traveler's Reader Choice Awards and Travel Leader's World Best Awards are widely recognized as the two most significant award lists for hotels worldwide.
Now that has come to an end of FBNC News this week. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to you joining us same time next week. Goodbye.